right, now we're going to talk about progression, which is one of the things that IHP does really, really, really well. You know, when people come from all over the world to IHP, they don't come to meet me, man. They come to learn to train the way we train. And part of the cool thing that makes our training cool is progression, okay? We're going to talk about exercise selection. We're going to talk about mastery of exercise, programming, the work distribution, very important, which is part of progression. Do I put it all here? Do I put it all back in? How do I distribute it? Do I front load it and then back load it with the rest in the middle? That's all distribution of work. Key factor. You hardly even hear it talked about, although it's implied in periodization. Compression of work, that's the big concept. What is compression of work? Power. More work in the same amount of time, or same amount of work in less time. Okay, what we really want is more work in less time, right? And then one of the things that we use, which is pre-fatigue, which is probably our biggest secret weapon, okay? From a multitude. We can talk about it from a biochemical standpoint, we can talk about it from a hormonal standpoint, and we can talk about it from a spirit-emotional, all right, human will factor. And so we're going to talk about each one now separately. All right, let's talk about exercise selection. Generally speaking, although not all the time, right, we're looking for a parallel stance. Let's say talk about lower body. For example, the JC leg cranks. We look at a parallel stance, something in a parallel stance, something in a unilateral, then something explosive in a unilateral, and then something explosive in a parallel. The whole idea is to put the explosive, the easiest and simplest from a biomotor standpoint. Put the easiest exercise last. Why? Because you don't want execution to get in the way. You want fatigue to get in the way. So practice with dealing with fatigue does what? Creates resistance against fatigue. What is that called? Power endurance. Got it? So you start simple. You can do some of the complex stuff towards the front, but it ends with the easiest exercise from a skill standpoint, but yet that requires the most amount of energy. So we'll go through it again, and you'll see the protocol. But as an example, the JC leg crank starts with parallel squats. Then it goes into alternating lunges, which is your alternating exercise. Okay, the squat is your parallel exercise. The alternating lunge is your alternating exercise. The alternating split jumps, okay, is your alternating explosive. And then your squat jumps, all right, are the parallel explosive. The jump squat is not hard to do, man. The problem is just getting down there to toilet level on each squat jump. And it's biomotor, from a biomotor standpoint, it's easy to do, but trust me, man, when you get to like 70 some odd reps and you got to pull 12 jump squats out of your soul, it's hard. It's hard. And so what happens? There's a lot of things that happen, okay? But one of the things that happens, it basically, man, it just toughens you up. It gets you used to having that sensation of, I can't move my legs anymore. Now, granted, there are biochemical things that happen, all right? And one of those things, for example, is when hydrogen levels go up, you need calcium to attach to hydrogen to neutralize that thing. If not, you get into lactic acid acidosis and you can die, right? The brain likes 7.2 pH. The circulation is about 7.2, but the muscles can get down there, way down into the low 4s. That's why they burn, because of that acid. Now, when the body uses calcium to attach to hydrogen to neutralize it, guess what's needed in muscle contraction, actin and myosin? Calcium. So if the calcium is not there, there's no contraction to be had. So say that you could just be totally neutral to pain, and you could take all the pain in the world, all right? And you can bypass those 6 personalities that tell you to quit. You get to the end, because you're not paying attention to any of those personalities, it's going to get to the point where your legs no longer contract. Period. End of story. No matter what happens, you run out of calcium, all right? So that is possible, but you got to get mentally and emotionally through all those personalities that tell you to quit. Let's say that you have 6 personalities that tell you to quit, and we can get through 3 of them. Guess what happens? All right, that can take your mile from 5:30 to 5:15, and that's a big jump. You can take a 5K from 25 to 23. That's a huge jump. Okay, so it can make a big difference, and you don't need the buffering to get through this. That's why the fastest improvements in metabolic training are psychological. All right, so this is how important that exercise selection becomes, because this here, the simple, hard exercise at the end, is the one that gives you the fruit, man. That's the one that tests that human will and allows you to forget about complex stuff, just grind through it, relax, stay in the moment. This is what allows this to do its magic. All right, mastery of exercise. Why are you a good personal trainer? Because I never do the same thing twice every day. You come with me, it's a different thing. So that tells me you do nothing. You do basically, you do phys ed, okay? And that's fine. If that's what you do, phys ed, great. But if you're looking at improving performance and improving something, there's not a person that has adequately improved anything without repeating the basics. From sports to music and everything in between, mastery of the exercise is essential. So you don't use metabolic training to learn the exercises in the metabolic circuit, okay? That's one of the problems, all right, in using snatches and cleans to condition the body. It's highly technical. You don't use highly technical stuff to go to fatigue. You use simple things to go to fatigue.